Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is David, and welcome to my channel. And for those who are returning from previous videos, welcome back. So today is just business as usual. We are doing another CD collection update. Um, Also talking about a couple music DVDs that I've acquired. Figured I'd go ahead and throw those in anyway, since they're still music related, even though they're not CDs. But yeah, a pretty random selection of things today. This again, I'm just kind of picking out the rest of the stuff the random shit that I got from while I was on hiatus for a while. But there are a couple new releases in here, and one CD, which is the last one I'm going to show, I actually just had that come in today. So yeah, if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get talking about some CDs. So first up, we have Periphery with the Icarus EP. This was released in 2011 on Sumerian Records. There's not a whole lot to say about this. Comes with a bonus DVD, which is pretty cool, and for the most part, with the exception of a few new songs, which the new songs are really cool. If you're a fan of Periphery and you pretty much just listen to the full lengths and you haven't really bothered checking out their EPs and stuff, definitely do so. There's some really cool songs on those. So if you skip on those, you're definitely missing out on some pretty cool ones. Frack the Gods is cool. Captain on Eureka. Eureka has like a really infectious, really cool like groove to it. Very Meshuggah-esque. Of course, a lot of Periphery is very Meshuggah-esque, so that shouldn't really be a surprise. But yeah, like I said, there's not a whole lot to say about this. It's basically just the majority of it is just a bunch of remixes of Icarus Lives. But yeah, some cool songs that you don't get on any other Periphery release. So yeah, definitely still worth your time, I would say. That is Periphery with Icarus Lives. And next up, we go to Periphery again. This is with Clear, and as you can see, they really took that literally here. Like, there's no booklet, there's no insert or anything. It's all just clear. Disc is very, yeah, it's pretty clear, isn't it? But yeah, this is a release Clear. This is an EP that came out in 2014. They said they pretty much just put this out in order to hold over fans for the Juggernaut album that they were working on at the time. And this is a pretty cool EP. First of all, because it's a pretty lengthy EP, you got a lot of material. I think it clocks in around, I want to say it's somewhere around 20 or 30 minutes. But what's cool about this is like each member wrote like their own specific song for this. So like every member, like every track represents their trademark style, whether it's just their overall, I guess it's a bunch of things. It's their playing and just, a bunch of things. But my two favorite tracks of this are Mark's track, Pale Aura, which is just a beautiful but yet still just as heavy song. I love the melodies on it. Spencer's voice is really good on it, and Mark's solo is fucking just divine. I love Mark's solo on Pale Aura. Even though it's fairly short for a solo, it's definitely still one that just has, all the magic that a solo should. And my other favorite is Misha's track, which is Zero, which is an instrumental track. It's just that trademark, Misha kind of sound, that groove, and just cool grooves, heavy. Of course, it's got that djenty sound to it as well. But yeah, it's a trademark Misha, kind of sounding track. But yeah, this is pretty cool stuff. Like I said, what I really enjoyed about it is like every member like wrote their own specific song for it. So yeah, that is Periphery with Clear. And I don't know why I'm bothering like show you the back. I was about to open it too. I'm like, there's no fucking point. Next up, we go to Last Chance to Reason with Level 2. This is a progressive metal band out of Maine, I think, because Mike Lessard is from Maine, so I would assume that's where this project is based. But anyway, this is very good progressive metalcore. A lot of people now know Mike Wessard as being, the lead vocalist of the Contortionists, but this was his main band before he joined the Contortionists. Last Chance to Reason, this is really solid progressive metal. It's great musicianship. It's got lots of killer transitions, cool riffs. Mike's vocals are fantastic. It's definitely pretty like, there's a strong electronic kind of sound to it, which I guess they wanted to really give it like a kind of like video gamey sort of kind of sound and vibe, because they did make a video game based on this, I'm pretty sure. And the whole like level 2, and after this they had level 3. The whole level thing is like a concept story throughout the Last Chance to Reason discography. But yeah, this is a really cool album, and supposedly Last Chance to Reason are still together and they are still working on new material. So I am pretty excited to hear that. It's released on Prosthetic Records, by the way. So, yeah. Last Chance to Reason with Level 2. Cool shit. For those of you who are fans of the Contortionists and would like to hear the past of where Mike came from and how he got, or I don't know if this was his very first band or not, but, his biggest band before he joined the Contortionists, definitely give Last Chance to Reason a listen. Good shit. Next up, we go to a Japanese release. This is Rosenkreuz with... This fucking title is ridiculous. Genesis Tuzzy Muzzy. Yeah. No bullshit. That's what it's called. Anyway, this is pretty much just standard Japanese power metal. I expected it to be a little bit better than it was, which was kind of disappointing because I was on a big hunt for this album for years, and I finally found it. I think I finally found it on Amazon. Someone was selling it for not too ridiculous of a price because, man, getting stuff from Japan to ship over to the US, it's usually pretty pricey, but I will do it for some bands. Of course, I have the entire Dragon Guardian discography now, and I'll do it for Unlucky Morpheus, no question. But yeah, this is in a similar style to like Unlucky Morpheus and Dragon Guardian. They don't really use the symphonic elements quite as much. I don't think they use a different number of female singers. There's just a lot of these Japanese bands that like to do that. They don't really like to just use one. Sometimes they will use the same vocalist, but there's a lot of these Japanese metal bands, especially in the power metal genre, they like to use a lot of different female vocalists, guest vocalists to do the album. But I think it's only one person on this. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, you got some pretty cool, solos, some pretty cool riffs and stuff. There is some of these tracks aren't really kind of just like trance electronic with the power metal sound kind of in there. I don't really care for those as much, but yeah, it's a pretty fun listen. It's not really something I go back to super often, but yeah, if you like Japanese power metal, give it a shot. Next up, we go to Haunt with If Icarus Could Fly. This was released on Shadow Kingdom Records. This came out this year. This is the second full-length from Haunt. And, he released this very soon after putting out Burst into Flame. Just like some of these other artists like Tomb Mold and some others, he's just kind of one of these new projects that is just putting out music super, super often. Getting it out there fast. Main guy behind this is Trevor Church, who also does the band Beastmaker, which is a band that took me a little while to check out, but I finally did get to check out Beastmaker. Beastmaker is another great project of his if you haven't checked them out. But If Icarus Could Fly, I think this might be his best work so far. I really feel like his songwriting improved overall, his vocals, guitar work, I also think outdoes Burst into Flame. So yeah, I think I for sure prefer this over Burst into Flame. I feel like he just improved upon everything that Burst into Flame was and put it onto If Icarus Could Fly here. Some of my favorite tracks on here, the title track, definitely If Icarus Could Fly, definitely the catchiest song on here. Um, Cosmic Kiss, Winds of Destiny. Yeah, just great stuff on here. One of the best traditional heavy metal releases this year, even though there's been, as I've said, a ton of those to come out this year. Traditional heavy metal, speed metal is the metal genre that is doing the best this year by far. But yeah, I'm repeating myself. I've said all this shit before, but yeah, I guess that's really all I had to say. I'm sure a lot of you have heard this already, but if you haven't, definitely check out Haunt. Very solid traditional heavy metal. And the last album we're going to talk about is an album from last year. This is Ulthar with Cosmovore. This is released on 20 bucks spin. With me just being so fucking busy with 2018 was a year that just kept me super busy with listening to stuff. And this was definitely on my radar to check out, but just, man, I did not get to it because there was just, excuse me, because there were just so many other things that I had to listen to that year. But I finally played catch up and listened to this about a couple weeks ago, something like that. And I was just very impressed with what I heard. I was like, God damn, it is a shame that I did not get to this last year. It's kind of hard to say what this definitely can't be put into one genre. There's some black metal in here. There's a lot of death metal in here, and there's also some crust stuff going on here. If you go look on the bands on the Metal Archives or on their Facebook page, they categorize themselves as being black metal, death metal, and crust. So that's what they like to call themselves. Let's see. Man, this is kind of hard to describe. Very heavy stuff. Just super growled vocals. Very powerful. Pummeling drumming. Actually, the riffing and the pummeling drumming reminds me a lot of that Genocide Pact album that came out last year, Order of Torment. I hear a lot of Genocide Pact in this. Just, yeah, this is just really cool stuff. Like I said, great riffs, great vocals, and it gets pretty chaotic here and there, where it almost kind of seems like it goes into like a grindcore kind of territory, because it just gets so intense, and just it just kind of has that sort of vibe and energy to it. At least that's how it comes off to me anyway. But yeah, you got a pretty yeah, my voice I just lost my train of thought. I'm just gonna go ahead and end it. Yeah, if this sounds interesting to you, definitely check out Ulthar, a very solid release from last year. So that is Ulthar with Cosmovore. Yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Nothing to be done about it. Did that just... Shit. Oh no. That's not cool. Come on, I just had this come in today. I'll deal with that later. Okay, and last we're just going to talk about some music DVDs real quick here. This one is one I had come in about a month ago. This is Warlock live in London. This is... I'm trying to remember what year this came out. Late 80s, 88, 89, somewhere around there. But I love Warlock. I love Doro's voice. I've heard some of the Doro solo stuff. I haven't heard all of it yet, but I've always been a bigger fan of what she did with Warlock. Warlock was just a killer German old school heavy metal band. And this is a great performance. Doro sounds great on this. The band sounds great. It's just a really cool, energetic, fun to watch performance. And all the tracks are in here from the first two Warlock albums. So Burning the Witches and Hellbound. Burning the Witches is actually one of my all-time favorite heavy metal releases from the 1980s. So it's super super underrated. If you guys are not familiar with Warlock, definitely give them a listen if you're a fan of the old school traditional heavy metal, because I feel like Warlock gets overlooked quite a bit. And yeah, let's show Warlock some more love, shall we? But yeah, a very cool live DVD. Okay, and the last one we're going to talk about, this is Solitude Aeternus with Hour of Despair. Solitude Aeternus is a doom heavy metal band from Texas. So Solitude Aeternus is a band that I did not go through their discography until just a few days ago. It's interesting because me and my dad were coming back from seeing Iron Maiden live. And of course, we always put on some music and we talk about music on the way back home when we're coming home from a show usually. And usually I'll play some new stuff that he's never heard before. And Solitude Aeternus, Into the Depths of Sorrow, their debut album, I decided to play for him because he was such a big fan of Crypt Sermon when he heard him. And I said, well, if you enjoy Crypt Sermon, you got to hear Solitude Aeternus. And I've come to the realization that Crypt Sermon would not exist if it wasn't for Solitude Aeternus. It's just clear as day, down to Brooks' vocals and to how they construct their overall, just their songs and their riffs and definitely their solos. It's just, yeah, Solitude Aeternus is a band that can be heard all over Crypt Sermon. And I definitely think it's their biggest influence. And I don't see how Crypt Sermon could sound the way they do without Solitude Aeternus. Obviously, they sound a lot like Candlemass as well. That was a huge influence as well. And to bring Candlemass into this conversation, Robert Lowe, the vocalist of Solitude Aeternus, later when Solitude Aeternus split and was no longer active, he decided to move on to Candlemass for a bit, and he recorded 3 albums with them. Robert Lowe is just a fucking god. He's such a great vocalist. His vocals are just godly. He's got an incredible range. He's got power, but it's soaring and melodic, and he's just got like one of these just mesmerizing kind of voices. When you hear it, it's just, man, I love his voice. And yeah, as I was saying, Solitude Aeternus, I just finished going through their entire discography a few days ago because me and my dad listened to them that day. And yeah, what an amazing band. And this live DVD, I found out about it because I was curious, like, oh, I wonder if Solitude Aeternus has a live DVD, because I was going through their discography on Metal Archives, and to my surprise, they did. I looked it up on YouTube, I watched it, and it's a mind-blowing performance. It really is. I think it's probably one of the best concert performances, or yeah, like live concert videos that I've ever seen. I would put it up there with like Nevermore's Year of the Voyager, Iron Maiden's Live After Death. Like, seriously, it's that fucking good. The performance is fantastic. Musicianship's great. As I said, Robert's vocals are fucking godly and just sound so good on this. Yeah. Solitude Aeternus is fucking awesome. I'm probably definitely going to be getting some CDs from pretty soon, so you're probably going to hear me talking a lot about Solitude Aeternus in the near future on this channel. So yeah, that is Solitude Aeternus with Hour of Despair. If you have never heard them before and you are into heavy and doom metal, definitely change that and check these guys out because they fucking rule. What a great band. And that is going to conclude this video for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. Always appreciated, and I will see you guys in the next video. See you later.